guys, welcome back to Cruising as Crew. So before we get into this video, I just want to address the elephant in the room. Last Wednesday's video, I did something really stupid. If you haven't seen it, I basically uploaded the unedited file to YouTube. So instead of it being a nice clean cut precise video, there was a lot of stopping and starting, because when I film my videos there is a lot of stopping and starting, which you now know. So I just want to say thank you for everyone who commented and basically said, like, don't worry about it, shit happens, because I was absolutely mortified. I was so embarrassed, and I really don't get easily embarrassed, but you know, YouTube is something I take seriously because I want to give you guys good videos. So yeah, I was really embarrassed when I accidentally gave you that sneak peek behind the curtain. But yeah, I just wanted to come on here and address that. I was going to take it down. Well, I was going to take it down, but by the time I had realised that it was up and people were commenting saying, this ain't edited, we were out at sea. And it's so funny because we're in port almost every single day except one day, which is Ibiza. We don't actually dock in Ibiza until like 7 PM. And when did it go live? The night before Ibiza. So I was like, so we're now at sea all night and all day. So I was unable to log on to YouTube to delete it. And then by the time we got to Ibiza, I was like, you know what? Everyone's seen it, so there's no point deleting it now. So I'm just going to leave it up there. It's a lesson learned. I'll definitely check that I'm uploading the edited version from now on. But yeah, let's get into the video. We're going to talk about like the mid-contract lull. The mid-contract rut, if you will. So I started my contract on Valiant in February 2022, and it is now July, and I am probably going to get off September, October time. So I'm just a little bit over halfway. And sometimes the mid-contract lull hits like before halfway. Sometimes it hits exactly at your halfway point, and then sometimes it hits just after. So for me on this contract, it's hitting like just after I've hit the halfway point. And basically it's just when everything becomes a little bit stagnated. Like when you first come on board, whether it's your first ever contract or your second, third, seventh contract, there's new people, there's new energy, and everything's exciting. Like you're discovering things, you're probably doing an amazing itinerary, and you're seeing all these new places, and you just have so much to learn, which keeps you engaged, and you're making new friends constantly. But then you get halfway through and most likely you know everyone, unless there's been a big crew change, which actually could be good because it might make you skip your mid-contract lull. But for me, because the majority of people joined at a similar time because we were launching Valiant, everyone is kind of doing the same length contract, which means that I know everyone, which is so lovely, because there's a certain amount of comfort that comes from that. Like, you know, there's loads of familiar faces. I feel like I'm, you know, friendly with everyone, and if I needed anything, like, I know I could go to people, and I hope they feel the same about me. So it's lovely. However, I know everyone on board. I know the job that I'm doing, like, inside and out. The ports, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's an amazing itinerary and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. However, I've done it. We're doing it. So basically everything becomes a little bit boring, which is a weird transition, because you go from everything being so exciting, everything's moving at a really fast pace, everything is almost really overwhelming, to then becoming chill. Nothing's overwhelming now because I know everything. You know, we're always learning, but I know what I'm doing. Nothing kind of surprises me now within this contract, because I feel like we've been through everything. And the reason I wanted to talk about it is to basically normalize it. Like, it is completely normal if you are in the middle of your contract to just be fed up, because to be quite honest, that's where I am at the moment. And that is also where a lot of my colleagues are as well, but it's because we all joined at a similar time and we're all experiencing this, like, oh, is there anything new going on? And it's funny because if a new person joins the team, it's like, oh my god, fresh meat, someone else to get to know, like something interesting. And it can just get a bit frustrating because you obviously want to make the most of your time on board, and you don't want to be feeling frustrated and lethargic and all of that, but at the same time sometimes you just can't help it. So I just wanted to talk about some ways to combat it, because when you get into this lull or this rut, this mid-contract rut, all you want to do is stay in your cabin, watch films, sleep whenever you can. Like, if you're not at work, you're asleep, basically. That's all you want to do. But that is the worst thing you can do, because of course it's going to get mundane and boring if you're just sleeping and working. So basically you have to push yourself past your feelings, and you have to do the things that you don't feel like doing. Like, if you finish your shift and you've got 3 hours off and, you know, you've got a little bit of time to go out and explore the ports, or you could take a nap. Well, it's probably best that you go out and explore the ports even though you don't feel like it, because you're going to come back from that feeling revitalized, refreshed, happy, like you've seen something new. Whereas if you go for a nap, you're going to wake up and be like, oh god, I've got to go to work again. And there's nothing interesting to talk about. Whereas if you go out and explore the ports and your colleagues then say, oh, so what did you do today? You're like, oh my god, I went out and I did this and I went to the beach, and you know, you can do a lot in 3 hours or 4 hours or however long you have. So that is one thing. Like, don't do what you want to do, which is just sleep. Force yourself to go to the gym. Force yourself to go out in port and see these things, because at the end of the day, that's why you probably came to work on a cruise ship, so that you could see some really exciting places. And when you look back at your time on board this cruise ship, you're not going to remember how tired you were. You're going to remember the exciting times that you had exploring a new place. Or don't moan. So something that I always try and practice gratitude. I've been doing it for years, and I honestly think it is just so incredibly powerful, because it turns what you have into enough. You know, instead of being like, oh, I want this, or I wish this would happen, if you say, you know what, I'm so lucky that I have a job, and I'm so lucky that I'm in these amazing places, it makes it okay. It makes your life great. Like, what you have is good enough. So you want to practice gratitude, but you also don't want to moan about it to your colleagues. Firstly, no one likes people who moan. Like, I get it, we all need to vent, but venting is different to droning and moaning on. Like, if you've said something once and you've got it out your system, you don't need to mention it again. But if that's a continual thing, if every time you go to work and you see people, you're like, oh my god, I'm just so bored, I'm so tired all the time, I feel so shit, like, people aren't going to want to hang around you, and then you're going to start to feel lonely. And also, moaning can, like, perpetuate this downward spiral of rubbish. Let's say, you know, you're moaning about feeling shit, your colleague's like, oh my god, I feel shit too, like, I'm just so bored, and then the other oh, me too. You're creating this spiral of doom. You're all like, oh my god, it's so rubbish, it's so this. But if you could be the person that's like, yeah, it is, but you know what, why don't we go out tomorrow and do something fun to lift our spirits? Or why don't we go to the gym, get some endorphins going? Like, if you could be that person, people are going to really appreciate that. And also, you're going to feel better for doing that. So as satisfying as it can be sometimes to stand there and have a bitch and have a moan about how shit life is, it's not shit. It's probably not shit. Your life is probably going pretty good. You're just having a bit of a tough time at the moment because you're halfway through your contract and everything's a bit boring. But like, don't moan about it, because it's not going to fix anything, and it's actually just going to make the situation 10 times worse. And something that I like to do is I like to pinpoint what the issue is. So like, for example, at the start of this video I was like, you know, the itinerary's the same, we're going to the same ports. Well, people would kill to be going to these ports. People would love the fact that every day they're waking up in Spain today, France the next day. And actually, if you're bored of these ports, it's your fault. As in, it's my fault. Am I the person that goes to the same restaurant every time I'm in Toulon? And then says I'm bored of Toulon? Yeah, that's what I've done. So actually, push yourself outside your comfort zone. This is me giving myself a pep talk, basically. Push yourself outside your comfort zone and do something different in Toulon, or Marina de Carrera, or Barcelona. Like, if you're bored of these ports, I'm talking to you now, if you're bored of these ports that you're going to, it's probably because you're not taking the initiative to explore them properly. You're just going back to the same place you went last time because it's easy. And I get it. I'm currently doing it, so I need to start venturing out and doing new things in these ports. But like, I needed to check myself, because I was like, I can't sit here and say I'm bored of this itinerary when I'm not doing it to its fullest potential. Like, I get it if you're on a ship that's doing the Caribbean and you just think every port's a beach. I don't want to go to the beach, so I'm not going to get off. But actually, the Caribbean islands have so much more to offer than just beaches and shopping, if you take the initiative to do some research and find something that you can do. So yeah, those are my 3 tips for kind of combating the mid-contract lull, which I'm going to try and take my own advice, because I really do need to, because I'm not feeling this place that I'm in right now. I'm not feeling like myself. You know, I'm usually really like happy and outgoing and really just excited about life, but recently I've just been like, oh. So yeah, I'm just gonna have to do some research, and instead of going, you know, to the same places every time, do something new, and then you won't be bored. It's so simple. So yeah, but I just wanted to come on here and basically make it clear that going through a mid-contract rut, lull, boring stage is completely normal, and it will pass. It 100% will pass. Usually the cycle is you get on board, it's really exciting, then you kind of go into a bit of a lull during the mid-contract, then it comes back up again, and then by the end of your contract you're like, you check out maybe like 3 to 2 weeks before you finish, and the whole time you're just like, get me home, get me home, get me home, get me home. And then you go home and you have about a week at home and you're like, get me back, get me back, get me back. So yeah. But let me know if you are going through this, or if you have experienced this before, and if you have any tips on how to combat it. I would love to know, for myself and also for anyone else who is going through this. You know, we're a little community, we need to share the information. So if you do have tips, please let me know in the comments. But other than that, I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, guys, whatever you decide to do. And as always, I will see you in the next video. Bye!